So in this video, we're going to talk about something which I know a lot of guys struggle with, myself included, which is how to speak to anyone who makes you nervous. I've always found the idea that there's some people who can just come around and have you just forget how to act like a normal person. Kind of crazy. Like, why am I like this with one person versus someone else? Why is it around my friends I'm able to hold a perfectly normal conversation and I'm not afraid of saying anything, making some crazy jokes, but someone who I like or admire, maybe someone I find attractive, or it could be like an authority figure, when they come around, suddenly I'm afraid to say anything at all. Suddenly my body is all tense and stiff and I just feel like the most socially awkward person in the world. For the life of me, I can't think of what to say next. I'm second guessing every word that comes out of my mouth, and it feels like I'm more afraid of messing up than like actually having a conversation. So in this video, we're going to talk about a way that I found, like a workaround for this, something which has really helped me out. And the best way I can describe it is you're almost treating this person who makes you kind of nervous as if they were any other person. I'm going to teach you like a mental hack that I've found for how to do this. But first of all, we're going to talk about why this is going on. So what you need to understand is this is not you being some awkward weirdo. This is not a problem with you. This is purely because you don't feel safe around this person. So yeah, I mentioned before how you probably agree with me here, like around your closest friends or around your family, you're able to hold a normal conversation. You're not stuttering, you're not second guessing yourself, you're not afraid to say what you think. If anything, you're probably like a little bit too unfiltered. I am around my friends, like I have like the craziest sense of humor around my friends that I'd be afraid to bring around other people. But the point is, you're not afraid to talk to them. It's not your lack of social skills or ability to hold a conversation. You possess that. But around these people, the difference is that you feel safe. You feel completely comfortable. There's no sense of danger for speaking or voicing your opinion or making a joke. Whatever it is, there's likely no negative repercussions. So your nervous system isn't activated. And what is the nervous system? The nervous system is our body's like natural radar for danger. So we evolved this when, humans were actually at risk of being hunted or getting killed by like some saber-toothed tiger or any kind of predator that we had back in the day. We evolved this so that when we detect danger in our environment, we're on guard. We're ready to go. We're ready to either fight or flight. Either way, we're going to resolve this situation. But the thing is, in the modern day, because we're not at risk of physical danger, at least like not where I come from anyway, the danger has evolved. We still feel this fight or flight response as if we're about to die, but it could be in situations, truth be told, where like there's no actual risk of us dying. But our brain can't distinguish these things. It can't tell the difference between you about to get attacked by a saber-toothed tiger and a girl who may or may not be about to reject you. So in the modern day, it is emotional pain that our nervous system is afraid of. If there's times in the past where you've been like rejected or made fun of or like publicly humiliated, like think of something like really embarrassing that happened to you in school. Like I can think of a couple of times where like, I don't know, I put my hand up and got the answer wrong and the entire class laughed at me and it just felt completely awful. I know that the next time I thought about putting my hand up in class, I was like debating whether I should even do it because there was a slight possibility that I might feel that pain again. That's my nervous system storing this like sense of danger and applying it to another situation. So usually around these people who we get nervous around, we're nervous around them for a reason. Usually it's because we kind of believe them to be a little bit better than us. Like maybe they're more attractive than us. Maybe they hold more authority, more social status. But what we're really saying there, what that really means is we think there's a chance that they could cause us some kind of pain. Like around your friends, you don't have any of this bullshit. Your brain doesn't freeze up. Your dialogue just naturally flows. But around these people who present some kind of danger to us, our nervous system is activated. And when your nervous system's activated, it's for your survival. It's not for you coming across as like funny or charismatic or being a good conversationalist. It's telling you to get the fuck out of that situation. And it's not going to let your brain focus on anything but that. So when you become like, when your mind gets all foggy and you can't think of what else to say, or you freeze up, that's all down to you being in like a state of fight or flight. You're not supposed to be able to think of what to say next or access your brain's natural creativity to think of what to say next or to think of the right joke or the right story, because all of that's been shut down. Everything not essential to your survival has been rerouted out of your head. So that's the reason why you can't think of what to say. But yeah, in terms of the danger that this person presents, it's like when we believe that someone is better, that they hold some form of like leverage over us, we're less willing to take risks. Because, you know, let's face it, it's like when you're talking to someone who you're not attracted to, ironically, you're able to like be your best self. Like you're not like freezing up. You're talking to this person as if they're anyone else. But around these people, around someone who you do like, the rejection from them would actually sting, because you're kind of invested in them. You're kind of invested in like what they think of you, because this is the kind of person who ideally you would like to attract. But then that has the effect of shutting down your brain. Like, so you see where I'm going with this? All of your awkward behaviors, and this is something really important to understand, all of your awkward behaviors, you not acting in the way that you like, it's not down to your ability to communicate, because you can hold a conversation. It's just because you're in this state of fight or flight. So the solution to this is something which I like to call play mode. So play mode is the only way I've been able to like calm my nervous system down in the moment, or at least like trick my brain into calming down my nervous system to the point where I can relax and think as I would around my normal friends. And that's kind of the trick. It's like play mode is switching your mindset from like being like focused on a particular outcome. Like, I want to impress this person. I want them to like me like I like them. I want to look good in front of this person. I want to make them laugh. It's switching your goal from that to your only goal or outcome being to have fun. Like, specifically for you to have fun, to make yourself laugh, for you to be entertained. Because oftentimes I feel like this is what I mean, like we're afraid to take risks. We're not going to say things around this person that we would normally say because we think this is more likely for them to reject us, or we're afraid of like fucking up. But actually you kind of need to do the opposite. Like, it's easier said than done, but you need to have the attitude that this is just any person. This is like any old person, so I'm not going to change my behavior on account of them. And actually, my only goal in this situation is to have as much fun as possible. As much fun as possible. I don't care about whether they're having a good time or not. It sounds kind of backwards, but when we're in this like survival mindset, like, oh, I'm really scared of this person, we're too worried about whether they're having a good time, and we're not having a good time. So play mode, in terms of what I usually do, is a great example is we often that is when we can even think of what to say. We often kind of go into interview mode. Like, we start asking this person loads of questions like, oh, what do you like? Where are you from? Like, blah, 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 blah. We ask them like way too many questions because we want to ensure they're having a good time. And also sometimes we're afraid of like running out of things to say. But we often keep these questions like so safe. We're afraid to ask any like interesting questions, but in reality we're kind of boring them because we've asked them probably a question, especially if it's like a girl or something. Imagine you're like a girl in a bar, like you have loads of guys coming up to you, probably all asking you the same questions. So what I like to do is ask any question that I genuinely want to know the answer to. I'm not asking a question out of politeness, like a formality, like those questions you usually ask people. I'm skipping to something I actually want to know. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I don't know. I'm literally trying to think of an example on the spot here. Yeah, there was like every time like this is just like a really juvenile example, but every time I meet an American, I ask them like, how many guns have you shot? Like a really childish example, but this is just a funny question for me. The only objective I have in asking this question is making myself laugh. Like, it's really childish, but it's a good example because it's something which is playful. It's not me like extracting information from them. I'm simply asking it because I found it funny. So this should be like your guide. It's like, if I'm gonna say it, it's because I find it funny or I find it interesting. I think the key to this is humor. So instead of like not taking any risks, it's actually leaning into your unique sense of humor more. Like, for example, it requires a bit of understanding about what you find funny. But for example, when people ask me questions, something I find funny is I like to exaggerate the answer. Like, someone asks me where I'm from, I'll say like, oh, I'm from like Mozambique, Africa. Or I don't know, someone asks me my name, I'm like, yes, Lord Viscount Thomas the Fourth. Like, just these stupid fucking answers. But they're setting a playful tone to the conversation. It's also leaning into like niche references. You know, sometimes we're afraid to make jokes because we don't think everyone's going to understand them. But actually, it's like humor in itself is a bit of a risk sometimes. Not everyone is going to get it. And if we try and dumb the joke down more or dumb the reference down, it actually doesn't seem that funny anymore. So just a random example is I met some girl called Kendall recently. And the second she told me her name, this thought popped into my head. I was like, Big Time Rush. It's like some old ass like show from Nickelodeon when I was a kid. And as I was saying that, I was like, is anyone actually going to get this? Because there were a couple of her friends there as well. But they all laughed. Like, clearly this reference that I had in my mind, which I was taking a bit of a risk on. When it hits, it hits. But the point is, even if it didn't land, I said it because it felt like the right thing to say in the moment. It felt funny to me. And sometimes just going down to like a mindset level, sometimes I think like we don't need anyone else's permission to laugh at things. Like, I remember people in school who occasionally I did this as well. When I was looking to impress people, I'd make jokes, but the reason I'm telling the joke isn't because I think it's funny. It's because I want to get a reaction out of the group. So sometimes I would tell a joke, and immediately after I would scan for like the reaction, like, did anyone find this funny? It's almost like I'm asking for permission to enjoy my own joke. Their reaction determines how I feel about it. When that's like so backwards, and it's kind of cringy, it's like, I have a right to say whatever I want, regardless of who's in front of me. So I'm going to make whatever joke I like, and I'm going to laugh at it. I'm going to be the guy who laughs at my own jokes, but that's the best way to live. So that's a few examples of play mode. The final thing that you've got to understand is the more that we like lean into play mode, the more our nervous system calms down. Because the more we laugh, laughter for me is the opposite of danger. It's actually physically impossible to laugh when your body believes it's in danger. Laughter represents safety. And safety means you're not like experiencing these pulsations of anxiety throughout your body. You're not all stiff. You're finally able to relax talking to this person. And that is when your brain's natural creativity can start to flow back in. You'll stop freezing up. You'll stop losing your words and ability to talk. Your natural stories and humor will come back to you. And you can finally have a normal conversation. So actually, that's like the main piece of advice. I could have just said that, and this is the video over. The second you feel safe, forget all these like techniques, like top 10 things to say to a girl or whatever. When you're feeling safe, you're not going to struggle to talk to anyone, because your brain's natural dialogue just comes back. Once you feel safe, you're automatically charismatic in a way that makes sense for you. Everything happens automatically when you're feeling safe. That's my parting message. If you're interested in talking about any of this further, or any other kind of social problem you may be experiencing, I'm actually doing free coaching at the moment, just as a way of giving back to my audience. So if that's something you're interested in, go and book a call through the link in my description, and let me see if I can help you. See you in the next one, my friend. Take care. Have a good one.